In this morning's workin-ct, we head to Middletown, where Harbor Park is that community's lifeblood for its economy.
And as Fox 61's Ashley Afonso explains, the small business owners there know it.
Downtown Middletown, known best for its Main Street, but soon it could also be known for its Riverfront District. The city has some big plans for redevelopment that could be happening in the near future.
There is so much potential in recapturing our riverfront, reconnecting the downtown to the riverfront, and really making this whole area that we're sort of standing in the center of feel more like a cohesive, comprehensive neighborhood and downtown area.
Years from now, when you stand in Harbor Park looking north and south along the Connecticut River, the riverfront you see might look a lot different. Middletown is in the planning stages of redeveloping their Riverfront District, a project that will bring restaurants, retails, housing, and more to the riverfront.
We've talked about apartments and condos. We've talked about some mixed-use commercial space. We have talked about event facilities, hotels, that sort of thing. So all of those proposals we'll be looking at for sites that are already have some sort of commercial industrial use.
The city has plans to repurpose old industrial sites like their old water treatment plant. One of the first phases of this project already underway, that's finding a new business to occupy the former Mattabasset Canoe Club, a building you've no doubt seen if you've traveled Route 9 in Middletown. The building is owned by the city, and they put it out to bid for a future tenant. They received half a dozen proposals with many different ideas. One of the proposals comes from existing Middletown business owners Rocco and Aubrey LaMonica, who own the popular spot Eli Cannon's. They want to bring another restaurant to the city and to this space using a community-based approach.
So there's three major parts to what we wanted to do. The restaurant itself, which would include a small brewery that would incorporate Eli's down here, create a partnership. A coffee and creamery bar, which we would pull down Purgatory and Nora. We wanted to bring some strong female presence down here with us.
They also proposed a takeout window where some of the proceeds would go to the senior class at Middletown High School to help negate some of the cost for some of the senior events they do.
We look at this as the anchor of what could happen down here, all the way down on the water, and that's kind of what piqued our interest. That's what we've thought from the beginning when we saw this come up for bid. That's what made us excited about it.
The city hopes to have a decision on the future of this building within the next couple of months. As for the broader riverfront project, that will be years in the making. The city just recently announced they hired an architectural firm, Cooper Robertson, to move forward with creating a master plan. The city says they plan to involve residents to discuss their needs and visions for the riverfront.
One of the biggest challenges with this project is going to be striking the right balance between things like residential and commercial development and maintaining and preserving open space, passive recreational spaces, public spaces where anybody can come and enjoy the beauty of this area.
The funding of this project will partially come from an infrastructure bond the city passed last year, but they'll be looking for more state and federal money along with private investments.
100 years from now, people will be standing on this beautiful riverfront, enjoying what has come before and not really necessarily knowing or caring about those behind-the-scenes decisions. But it's exciting to think about what we're doing today is going to pay off for generations to come.
In Middletown, Ashley Afonso, Fox 61 News.